Bandha Sarvangasana, supported back bend. I'm going to show two adjustments for supported back bend. The first one is to have your students interlace the hands underneath the back. As they inhale, they'll lift the hips up. The first adjustment, the common thing, is for the back ribs to drop. So you'll have your hands underneath the back ribs and you'll gently lift. The second adjustment is to help them decompress the low back. And this is to take the hands at the rear hip bones and then gently draw the buttocks flesh towards the back of the knees, decompressing the spine. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, supported back bend. Dhanurasana, the bow pose. I'm going to show two adjustments for bow pose for different levels of flexibility. The first one is for a student who can easily grab their ankles. If they can't grab their ankles, you can have them use a strap. Their chin's on the ground. They'll take a big inhale. I'll place my hands on their heels. On the exhale, as they lift, I slowly draw their heels back. On the inhale, I move with them and they come back down. For a more flexible student, I'll have them bring their feet together. I'll step over them. My sit bones are going to go on the arches of their feet. Notice that my strength is in my legs, not on their feet. From here, they'll take a big inhale as I bring my hands to the front of the shoulders. On the exhale, as they start to lift, I draw their shoulders back. I press into my feet to draw their feet back. When I release them, the inhale, they come back down. I move with them. The strength is in my legs, and I come up. Dhanurasana, the bow pose. Urdhva Dhanurasana, the full wheel pose. This is a great adjustment if you have a small group or if you're working with privates. It's a two-person adjustment. One strap goes underneath the rear hip bones. The second strap goes underneath the thoracic spine up near the armpits. Your student will have their hands back by the ears, or if they tend to be tight in the shoulders, you can have your students grab their ankles instead. So if a student is tight, have them grab the ankles. Otherwise, hands flat to the ground, fingers towards the shoulders, elbows straight up. From here, take a big inhale. And then on the exhale, together, you will help them lift. And from here, as an adjuster, lift your chest and roll the shoulders back and down. An adjustment misalignment is adjusters lifting like this, compromising their own shoulders, and your student will feel it. So just as if they're doing a back bend, lifting the chest, so are you creating space. So many more people can come up in a back bend with your support in this two-person adjustment. And then together, on the exhale, have them slowly come down. You help guide them down. They tuck the chin and come all the way back down to the ground. Urdhva Dhanurasana, two-person supported back bend. Shavasana, the corpse pose. I'm going to show two different adjustments depending on the class you're teaching or if you're working with a private client. The first adjustment is if you have a busy class and you don't have a lot of time. I would suggest that not everyone likes an adjustment in Shavasana, so you may cue your students that if they'd prefer not to be adjusted, to place one hand on their heart and one hand on their belly as a cue for you not to touch them. Otherwise, they'll be in a traditional Shavasana pose. Take your hands right underneath the collarbones and then gently press down. Don't overdo it, but don't underdo it either. You're just letting the shoulder blades release towards the ground and broadening across the collarbones. And then you gently release. Make sure your approach, again, is with sensitivity so that they're not shocked if they're in Shavasana. This would be for a busier class and if you want it to get to a few more students. Working with a private or working in a small class, you can give a more in-depth Shavasana. This one would start at the legs. From here, you grab underneath the ankles and lift the legs up. I'd like to place the heels right at my frontal hip bones so that it's light. And then you just rock side to side, rocking out their low back. And so you do a few rocks. And then you give a small little shimmy, just a little bit of a shake of the low back, releasing tension. And then slowly just swing the legs down, bring the legs all the way to the ground, and then a little joint work. Turning the feet inward, releasing the joint, and then turning the feet outward. From here, we're going to work our way up to the back. You'll cross your arm to grab their arm. Draw the arm across the chest and then reach underneath the shoulder blade to release the shoulder blade down. This releases the shoulder from the ear. Opposite arm crosses. Draw the arm across the back. Reach underneath. Release the shoulder blade down. And the hand palm face up. And then we move to the top, and one more time, we give a release of the chest and shoulders. Shavasana, the corpse pose. So here are some adjustments you can do if you're teaching a faster vinyasa style of class. I'll cue Allie in Surya Namaskara A and Surya Namaskara B, and you can see how I work as I'm cueing, and she's moving at a faster pace. So here we go, Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, reach up, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, folding Uttanasana. Inhale, look up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or jump back, come to Chaturanga Dandasana, push-up position. Inhale, lift your chest, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. I'm adjusting her with my hands on the outside of the shoulders, firming them in. Exhale, lift your hips up and then back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. The first adjustment I'm going to do is hands at the rear hip bones, lifting her hips up and back. My fingers are lifted so they're not pressing on any private parts, and I'm lengthening her spine. Again, the lift is up and then back. And then I slowly release my hands off with sensitivity. Inhale, step or jump your feet between your hands. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up, reach up towards the ceiling, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, Samastitihi. Surya Namaskara B. Inhale, bend your knees, reach up, Ukkatasana. Exhale, folding Uttanasana. Inhale, look up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or jump back to Chaturanga Dandasana, your push-up position. Inhale, lift the chest, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step your right foot forward, angle back your left heel, reach for the ceiling, Virabhadrasana 1. The adjustment here is to draw the front hip back, the back hip forward. Exhale, come all the way down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, lift your chest, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Step your left foot forward, your right heel is anchored. Inhale, reach up. I draw the left hip back as the right hip moves forward. Exhale, come all the way down, Chaturanga Dandasana, your push-up position. Inhale, lift your chest, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. I'm going to show two adjustments for this downward dog. One, if their heels are almost to the ground but not quite, I can take my toes at the heels, gently draw them down, and then draw the shins back, creating a little more length. If you have a student that's not very flexible in downward dog and needs to bend their knees and lift their hips, I would not do the adjustment from the front or if their elbows are bent, but you can do the adjustment from the back, interlacing the fingers and then doing a hip squeeze and lengthening the spine now. My hands are interlaced just above the sacrum, and I'm squeezing the hips up and back. And then I slowly release my hands. Inhale, step or jump feet between the hands. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, folding Uttanasana. Inhale, bend your knees, reach up, Ukkatasana. And inhale, come all the way up, reach for the ceiling, Utthita Hastasana. Exhale, bring your arms by your side, Samastitihi. Surya Namaskara A and B, adjustments in a faster pace setting.